and welcome to Business Line. Ryanair, Europe's biggest discount carrier, has announced plans to expand its presence in Greece. The company is launching new routes and more flights to and from Athens, saying it will not only boost passenger numbers, but also support over 2,000 jobs at the capital's airport. That follows on Ryanair saying that it is looking for a fourfold expansion of its share of the German air passenger market, doubling operations in Berlin and adding bases in Hamburg and Nuremberg. So while traditional carriers are looking at where and how to save money, their low-cost rival Ryanair is investing, poaching their customers and moving in on their market share. How far could Ryanair go in this competition and what's next for the company? Euronews business correspondent in Athens, Simela Tuhtidou, followed Ryanair CEO during his visit to Greece and sat down with him to find out whether it's the right time to do business in Greece and whether now Ryanair wants to go global.
Average airport fees at the big airports in Europe.
Ryanair is invested in Athens and also in many of the Greek islands, and we're growing strongly here in the market because there is significant demand from all over Europe from people who want to visit Athens and visit Greece. Yes, we trust the country, but we don't necessarily agree with some of the economic policies, particularly the high taxation on tourism is bad for Greek tourism and Greek jobs, particularly in a country here where you have very high youth unemployment. The market is fracturing. Long-haul connecting travel will continue to go across big hubs like Paris, London and Frankfurt. But short-haul point-to-point, whether it's Greek domestic or it's intra-European from London to Athens or from Santorini to Rome, that will fly with Ryanair in the next 5 or 10 years.
Mr. O'Leary, thank you for joining us. You came to Athens to announce new investments in Greece. Is that a vote of confidence to the country?
I think Greece is one of the great tourism destinations in Europe. Ryanair is Europe's largest low-fares airline. It makes sense that we bring low fares to Greece. Tourism is an industry that creates entry-level jobs for young people, and I think the government needs to do more to lower the fees at the airports, lower the taxes on tickets, and help us to bring many more millions of visitors to Greece.
Last year in an interview you said that the Greeks chose a bunch of lunatics in the elections to avoid austerity and that the Greeks should stop drinking coffee and start working. Do you stand by those comments?
I regret the comments and the way they were reported, but I think the underlying point I made, which was the election platform of Syriza, which was, we're going to get rid of austerity, had no credibility. And as it turned out, the government changed course. The difficulty, and we've gone through the same thing in Ireland.
You're expanding in Germany, you are going east. What's next? Are you going global?
We don't at this point wish to grow global. Last year we carried 106 million passengers in Europe. This year we hope to grow that to maybe 115 million passengers. So, we expect to grow by about 10 million passengers a year, each year for the next number of years. The luxury we have in Ryanair is that many other European countries want to share in that growth. So the German airports want us to grow there, the Spanish airports want us to grow. The Greek airports would like us to grow, but again, some of the Greek airports are held back.
As far as fares are concerned, they are not going down the way oil prices are going down. Are you making money on the expense of your customers?
No, when you're charging 45 euros, which is the lowest fares in Europe, we're actually passing on those savings to our customers. But the reality is, we're hedged this year at $92 a barrel, which was the hedges we put in place last year. Into next year, we're hedged at $62 a barrel. Now, the spot rate is currently about $40 a barrel. So we're hedging last year, we have a rolling hedge program. Next year, we'll be hedged at hopefully about $40 a barrel. We are the only airline to say we will pass on all of those savings to our customers. So this year, Ryanair's passengers will see fare reductions of between 5 and 10%.
Ryanair becomes more customer friendly, but what about employees friendly? You dropped out of Denmark when you had a dispute with a national union, and you asked for a ban of the right to strike for European airport traffic controllers.
What happens when French go on strike is the sky gets closed down. All the French domestic flights operate, but all the flights that cross over France are cancelled. That shouldn't be allowed. And Europe shouldn't be hijacked by a tiny group of French or Spanish air traffic control just because these guys can close the skies over Europe. If we're truly to have a European open sky and a single market, and if the French air traffic controllers want to go on strike, then fine. We say let the Irish and the UK air traffic controllers manage the sky over France for that day or 2 days when they're on strike. Stop disrupting the travel plans of millions of European consumers.
Uber is undisputedly the most well-known ride-hailing app in the world. But is it the number one? What if we told you that in China, its biggest growth market, there is a startup which seems to be one step ahead? And what if we told you that Uber itself is ultimately responsible for the birth of its nemesis? This is it. This is IT.
Ladies and gentlemen, fasten your seatbelt because Didi Kuwaiti is taking you for a ride. Not familiar with the name? Let me give you just a couple of figures. At the end of last year, Uber claimed it had served 1 billion passengers since it was set up in 2009. Didi Kuwaiti responded by saying it had 1.43 billion rides just in 2015. Be careful though, the comparison has to be taken with a grain of salt, as China's homegrown ride-hailing startup has many different services. There's taxi hailing, which enables users to find a yellow cab with their smartphones, Hitch, a carpooling system for people with similar routes, and finally private car rides, where Didi Kuwaiti competes directly with Uber. Recent data from the China Internet Network Information Center claims it has 87% of the car-hailing market there. After its latest funding round, it reached a valuation of $16.5 billion. But you haven't heard the craziest part yet. Didi Kuwaiti is the result of a merger announced exactly 1 year ago. Back then, rival services Didi Dache, backed by internet giant Tencent, and Kuwaiti Dache, backed by e-commerce juggernaut Alibaba, were trying to counter Uber's invasion. This solution came in the form of a tie-up, and since the best defense is a good offense, the new company decided to strike back by investing in Uber's main rival, Lyft. That was it. That was IT.
That was it for now. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week.